So we've made it to the end of the year, and that means today I'm going to give you my picks for the 10 best movies of 2018. So let's talk about it. So after spending 2 days talking about the biggest disappointments and the worst movies of the year, talking about these movies is a breath of fresh air. There are the movies that were the most exciting, the most emotional, the movies that had something to say that resonated with me. These are the movies that made it fun to talk about movies in 2018. As a disclaimer, I didn't see everything that came out this year, and I missed some movies that I really wanted to see, and I haven't been able to catch up on them because they haven't come out on VHS yet. Also, these aren't my Oscar picks. These are just the movies that impacted me the most. And I enjoy dramas, and I enjoy grown-ups in cosplay causing explosions. So share yours down below in the comment section. Which movies did you absolutely love this year? Let's have a nice lively discussion about the best movies of this year. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to share my video for my most anticipated movies of 2019. And after this video, check out this playlist up above with all of my end of the year rankings. With that said, let's get started with some honorable mentions. First up, we've got Den of Thieves, a very cool Gerard Butler heist film. Next up, we got Black Klansman, a powerful, bizarre, and true story from Spike Lee. And then we got Juliet Naked, a nice, charming indie rom-com that kind of went under the radar. I'll have a few more honorable mentions later in this video, but as for now, let's dive into the top 10. Kicking things off is Black Panther. Prior to the release of this film, the MCU had done a heist movie, a space opera, a wizard movie, so why not a soft remake of The Lion King? For me, this is the most serious and thematically rich film inside of the franchise. Most films inside of the MCU work because they're kind of unassuming escapism. But this movie actually had something to say, and it said it through storytelling. The MCU is often criticized for having weak villains, but this film would be an exception to that. Killmonger may be villainous, but there's enough truth to his worldview that by the end of the film, he's swayed our hero in a new direction. All in all, this was a great addition to one of my favorite franchises. Coming in at number 9 is Incredibles 2. Now, I've heard a lot of people were disappointed by this film, but I'm just not in that camp. It delivered everything that I wanted and very quickly became one of my favorite Pixar films. The action sequences were great, the story worked for me, and the humor landed, especially the stuff with Jack. The movie provided more of all the elements I enjoyed about the first film, and perhaps because I don't hold the original up quite as high as some people, I thought it actually improved upon a few things. Number 8, Searching. I actually really wasn't interested in seeing this movie after watching the trailer, but within 5 minutes of the movie starting, it absolutely won me over. The central story is fairly familiar as it's a missing persons thriller, but it's told through technology, so this made for one of the most refreshing cinematic experiences of the year. The real joy here is the experience of trying to piece everything together with the lead character. The director understands how we interact with technology and social media, so he's able to prompt us to look in all the right places and remember icons, words, and names. And so as we go through the film, we fall for all the red herrings that the lead character does, which leads to a very satisfying conclusion when we're able to put all the pieces together along with him. And it all works because of John Cho's great performance. This is a perfect example of how a simple story can be told with excellence and creatively. At number 7 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I've said it many times since this movie came out, but this is easily one of the most creative and unique animated films I have ever seen. The animation is extremely stylized and the story is very unique and comic booky, and what makes the movie so cool is that the style and story are combined with one another to complement each other. All the characters are charming, the small characters are all scene stealers, and our main characters are all well-rounded and nuanced, and the humor here is wickedly smart. But what pushes it to that next level is that it actually causes you to feel deep emotions. Even though the Spider-Man character has been well explored in film over the last 15 years, they found a way to do something original. Coming in at number 6 is Creed 2. Somehow the Creed franchise has now managed to make 2 legit, solid sports dramas based off one of the most ridiculous and over-the-top 80s movies. Now, I love Rocky IV, but that is a product of its time.
If he dies, he dies.
Everybody can change.
Once again, they dig into where these characters would be at in life and draw out relatable emotions. In doing so, they find a way to make Ivan Drago into an actual character and not just an 80s caricature of a Russian. Along the way, we might get the best training montage of the franchise since Rocky IV. The fights are great and the emotions hit as hard as the punches. This is one of my favorite franchises and they've given us another great entry. Before I give you my top 5, here's a few more honorable mentions. Upgrade, one of the great surprises of the year for me. If you like violent sci-fi, check it out. Aquaman, just a fun adventure. The Favorite, not my usual thing, but very interesting. Crazy Rich Asians, one of the best rom-coms of the last 10 years. Bringing us into the top 5 is 8th Grade. This movie doesn't offer anything fantastical or over the top. In fact, what makes it compelling is the exact opposite. It captures the realities of a specific time and place. It's a painfully realistic look at the life of an 8th grade girl in the year 2018. It made me cringe, it made me squirm, and it captured my attention from beginning to end. I worked with teenagers for over 10 years, and I have a story that lines up with almost every single scene inside of this movie. And full credit to the leads here. They managed to capture the uncomfortable and awkwardness of a father-daughter relationship, and they also managed to balance being very uncool but likable at the same time. This isn't the most rewatchable movie, but it is a movie that everyone should watch. Coming in at number 4 is Mission Impossible Fallout. 6 films into the 22-year-old franchise, and things are as good as ever. Probably more so than any other film in the franchise, this one dives into Ethan Hunt, the person, not just the hero. Likewise, this film probably is the most connected to the previous films in the franchise. Because of this, it feels like it's taking things to a whole new level on world building as well as character development. And as a Mission Impossible movie, it is jam-packed with amazing sequences of Tom Cruise trying to kill himself. Beginning to end, it excites while drawing you into the world. This is one of the best of a great series. Remember after this video to check out this playlist up above with all of my end of the year rankings. It's got all the comic book movies of the year ranked, biggest surprises, biggest disappointments, worst of the year. If you enjoyed this video, there's something in there that you will like. Also, remember to come back tomorrow for my picks for the most anticipated of 2019. Kicking off the top 3 is A Quiet Place. This film takes a fairly straightforward story and concept and turns them into a thrilling, emotional, intense experience. The narrative works because there's a very clear set of rules that we understand from the very beginning. We also know the family's struggles and tensions. Therefore, Krasinski can just show us a nail and draw dread out of us. The real magic here is the fantastic cast is able to communicate so much while saying so little. We have a full family drama about loss and forgiveness with almost no lines of dialogue. Before this film, I loved Krasinski as an actor because of The Office, and now he's one of the directors that I'm most excited to see what he's going to do next. Our runner-up is A Star is Born. Of all the movies that I saw this year, this is the film that took me on the fullest emotional journey. It has romance, tragedy, success, failure, family conflict, family loyalty, and it makes you laugh. It captures so much of the human experience. Along the way, we discover that Lady Gaga can hold her own acting next to Bradley Cooper, and equally impressive, we discover that Bradley Cooper can hold his own singing next to Lady Gaga. The music is great, the drama is real, and this is probably the movie that made me feel the most this year. But the best movie of 2018 is Avengers Infinity War. Now, I'm an unashamed lover of comic book movies and blockbusters, and this is kind of like the ultimate of both. It's got sci-fi, it's got action, it's got comedy, it's epic, it's got drama. It basically has everything that I love about movies. For me, the MCU is the coolest thing happening in movies right now. I love the idea of this shared universe with a master plan, and this movie is essentially the culmination of this 10-year-long successful shared universe. Fingers crossed that they don't screw things up with Endgame. For me, this is the film that made me most excited about movies this year. It was exciting, it was emotional, and it made me feel like a kid again. which isn't particularly hard because I never really grew up. So this is my #1 movie of 2018. Remember to come back tomorrow for my most anticipated movies of 2019. And remember to check out that playlist right over there with my other end of the year ranking videos. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, commenting down below, and talking movies with me this year. And let's keep talking movies too much next year.